Today, we're talking about your dream, what your hope-filled financial future can be. Hope-filled financial footstep number 8 is when your dream becomes your reality. And living and giving the dream reminds me of a ridiculous story where Alton Brown, the food guy, cuddled me. You're not going to want to miss that story. Good morning and welcome to the HopeFilled Financial Podcast. My name is Jay Disberger, your one and only HopeFilled Financial Coach, and I'm happy that you're here with us today. If you're watching on the day this episode's released, it's Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas. And happy holidays. I sincerely hope that this time of year is a beautiful, relaxing, and rejuvenating season for you as opposed to stressful. And while I wish you the best, we got to be realistic. I know for some of you listening, the holidays are a difficult time and there's a lot going on and we feel like we're barely treading water. But there is hope in the future. We have to have hope in a better tomorrow. We have to have hope in a holiday season in the future that isn't a burden, but a blessing. That is the focus of today's episode covering Hope-Filled Financial FootStep number 8. That will be the main topic. For our story, though, I want to tell you about someone who has definitely achieved, and from my observations, their hope-filled financial future. And I say this because I don't believe this person has to work for money, but they continue to do what they want to because it's their dream. They're living the dream. That person is Alton Brown. Alton Brown was a culinary role model of mine when I was 12, 13, and 14 years old. From that point on, I loved cooking and I loved science with cooking because of his show, Good Eats. For my fellow Good Eats fans out there, what was your favorite episode and why? Let me know in the comments. I was an Alton Brown super fan. I have many of the mid-year, early year episodes on DVD still downstairs in my basement. I own every cookbook. I have, I think, 2 or 3 cookbooks that are autographed. Super fan. I've also gone to see him in person 3 times. The first time I saw Alton Brown live, he was doing a stage performance where he made ice cream with fire extinguishers. It was carbonated ice cream. And second, he cooked pizza using over 1 million lumens of stage lighting in 60 seconds. The show was fantastic, and I loved it. The second time I got to meet Alton Brown, I got to speak with him. It was a book signing here in Kansas City. At the time, I was a college student, and it was a long day. I was running on about 2 hours of sleep, and it was the day that I'm pretty sure, to this point, I consumed the most caffeine I ever had in a 12-hour period. I was over 500 milligrams of caffeine. We drove to Kansas City, and when I say we, I mean me and a friend. Hi, Michelle, if you're listening. We drove to see Alton Brown in Kansas City and collect signed cookbooks for ourselves and for family members for Christmas gifts. I got one for my mom. And as a part of the book signing, you get to hear him give a little spiel about the book. You get to buy your book. You get to go up and he signs them and then you take some pictures with him. And he noticed that I was wearing an Alton Brown designer bow tie. I'm not wearing it today. I'm wearing green right now because it brings out my eyes.
Give me some time to find me a new bow tie. This time, no polka dots. Maybe something in a nice blue, not too busy. Or green. I like green. Brings out my eyes.
Alton even remembered the name of the bow tie. He said, "I appreciate you wearing the salmon hunter here." He was very genuine in person at the book signing, and it was awesome to actually interact with him. I thought that was going to be it. And then he came through for his live stage show in Wichita, Kansas, and it was my mom's birthday, so we went together. And from the previous show that I saw live, I know that he calls up volunteers that are very energetic, and I wanted to be the one who got called up for the second half of the show. We were sitting further up in the back. We didn't have the most expensive seats, my mom and I, but I was jumping up and down, waving my hat in the air. I have a safari hat that I'm wearing this day, like think Indiana Jones. And I have the same salmon hunter bow tie from when I met him at the book signing. He doesn't remember me, but I'm jumping and shouting. He points to the very back and goes, "You, jumping with the hat." And I keep jumping. I point back at the stage as I'm jumping. He goes, "Stop jumping. You're going to hurt yourself." So I stop and I point back at him, not jumping. And he goes, "Come on down." I was so excited. I got to go down on stage, whether I would regret it or not. And maybe if you've seen Alton Brown live before, you know where this story about him cuddling me goes, because this was the performance where we make popcorn. It was basically like living out a live episode of Good Eats. We made a giant balloon model of a popcorn kernel, and this is really interesting. He tells me that we need to put stuff in the balloon that represents popcorn. He's got like a rock for minerals. We throw a rock in there. He's wanting to put protein in there. And the protein representative he has me hold my hands out, and he dumps a bunch of crickets in there. And then he takes a cricket and he feeds it to me as he's explaining things to the audience. And we dump all the crickets in there. Next, he gets a bag of packing peanuts. As we're getting ready to put those in, he's explaining to everyone that the packing peanuts are technically made out of cellulose, so they're theoretically edible. Since Alton Brown had already fed me a cricket, I thought it would be entertaining if I just grabbed a packing peanut and ate it, and it kind of took him by surprise a little bit. He looked at me, paused, and then made a comment to the audience, and everybody laughed. Okay, so we finished stuffing the balloon with everything that represents the internals to a popcorn kernel and walk over to an industrial-sized helium tank. And we're talking about a tank that is roughly 5'6" to 6 foot tall. Alton goes over to the container. He has his giant balloon in his hands, and he's blowing it up and explaining the first time that he practiced this demonstration. He was in his garage, and he was blowing up the balloon, and the balloon popped prematurely. He said that the rock that was in the balloon hit him in the head, and the cricket legs were sharp, and they got all stuck in his outfit. And that's why he picks a volunteer that's a little bit taller than he is. This is the part where it makes sense why they dressed me in a safety vest, a bright orange safety vest, and a bicycle helmet. Alton Brown pulls me between him and the helium tank. He's got his arms wrapped around me as he's blowing up the balloon. I'm there stiff as a board. I'm a previously homeschooled kid who was arguably sheltered. This is new territory for me. I'm being cuddled live on stage by someone I looked up to, and I'm not feeling super comfortable, but I did sign the waiver that signs my life away. So anyway, Alton's blowing up the balloon and tells the audience, it's okay, we're not spooning. Okay, we are, but it's okay because he's not into it. You're not into it, Jay, right? You're not into it? No, I wasn't into it. So the balloon's blown up. I'm holding the balloon. He gets up on a ladder. He's got a heat gun, and he's using the heat gun to represent the popcorn kernel being cooked, leading up to it popping. And, well, the balloon's way up there, and eventually to make the balloon pop, he does just touch it a little bit with the heat gun. It pops, and cricket legs and styrofoam packing peanuts and a rock come showering down over me. And that wasn't the end of it. We ended up making popcorn with a giant rocket ship filled with, I think, almost 30 hot air popcorn poppers and 2 to 3 air cannons. The rocket ship filled up with popcorn, tilted forward. Alton pushed a button, and I was standing in front of it, dressed like an astronaut holding a giant bowl, and the popcorn goes flying over everybody's heads, and I catch popcorn in the bowl. It was awesome. Okay, why am I telling you this story on Christmas Eve of all days? I'm telling you this because Alton has hit a point where he gets to do what he wants to do because he wants to do it because it's his dream. We all have an opportunity in our lives to hit a place financially where money is a tool, not a burden, where our personal financial decisions, our personal financial circumstances enable us to be truly free. We can hit a point of financial independence where we can do what we want to, not because we have to, but because it is our dream. We can live and give the dream. That's what we're going to talk about in the main topic. All right. This is the last Hope-Filled Footstep episode of this year. We've covered all 8 of the Hope-Filled Financial FootSteps. This is number 8. Live and give the dream. This is, if you go all the way back to the beginning of the year, the step that you reflect on, that you think about, that you write about at the start of your financial journey, no matter where you are, no matter what your circumstances are as you begin the footsteps. This is the thing we think about first. We begin our plan with the end in mind, and we think about the answer to this question. If you didn't have to work for money, what would you be doing with your life right now? This question comes from the book, Your Money or Your Life. If you didn't have to work for money, what would you be doing day to day? What is your passion? If your answer is the same thing that you're doing to make money because you have to, well, congratulations, you're already halfway there, or more than halfway there, to living your dream. But there is a beautiful change when you're doing work because you want to, not because you have to. So answer that question at the start of your financial journey. You say, what is it that I want to do? If money wasn't the concern, what would I be doing? Write it down. Make it a realistic dream of yours. Make it something that you really do want to see come to reality. And we're going to take our footsteps toward making it true, making it your hope-filled financial future. When you write this dream down, I want you to make it vivid. I want you to be able to close your eyes and imagine it. I want it to show up in your dreams. I want you to take whatever it is that you write down for your hope-filled financial future and put it in a place where you see it every day. That is the goal that is going to motivate you to get through the hills and the valleys on your way to financial independence. Why do we write down something that we want to be doing with our time as opposed to simply making a lot of money the goal and putting some big dollar sign down? In my opinion, building wealth simply for wealth's sake is vanity, because when we die, we don't get to take any of it with us. Sure, we can leave an inheritance to those we love who survive us, and that has a meaningful backing to it. But building wealth should be freeing us up to answer our calling, to engage with our dream, to engage with a satisfying, fulfilling future. Having money for money's sake may not be fulfilling. There's that phrase, money can't buy happiness. And I know having a lot of money can lead to a lot of excitement and joy. In Weird Al's words, if money can't buy happiness, I guess I'll have to rent it. But I do believe that we need to have more of a goal than just building wealth for wealth's sake. As we're working toward this goal, we need to be reflecting on the virtue that allows us to achieve a realistic, hope-filled financial future. That is hope-filled frugality, the intentional practice of prudent economy. We've talked about it off and on throughout the episodes of the last 2 years. Hope-filled frugality is the virtue, is the foundation, is the litmus test for all of our financial decisions. It helps us dial back on the overspending, on the over exuberant, on the overly lavish. It helps us spend more when we might be a penny pincher. It helps us to avoid undue risk and allows us to engage with what we truly care about with genuine, thoughtful intentionality. And I want your dream, as you're writing it down, to have a foundation in frugality. When you hit Hope-Filled Financial FootStep number 8, when you hit financial independence, it's only going to be truly achievable in your soul if you're able to balance out the outflow of money with the inflow. You need to be able to play offense and defense with your money. And hope-filled frugality is the lens that's going to help us dial that in so that your financial independence, your goal, the point where you can hit, I don't have to work anymore. I can choose to work. Frugality is what makes that realistic. It's what makes it probable. It's what makes it possible in today's economy. Frugality is what frees us from the shackles of money when money is what's holding us back, when money is what's stealing our hope. Frugality is going to be the path to that hope-filled financial freedom. And if this is the first Footstep episode you're listening to, for all of 2024, we covered the entire Hope-Filled Financial FootStep plan from start to finish. And this is the path that can lead you to living out that dream that you have written down. I know today's episode's a little short, but it's Christmas Eve, and I don't want to hold you too long. I want you to go spend some time with your family. Try to let go of any pressure that might be preventing you from being present today. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring yourself, your genuine presence for the rest of today. And as you're doing that, we're going to be working on the last episode for this year, the last episode of 2024. It's going to come out New Year's Eve, next week, next Tuesday. And we're going to be wrapping up with some really interesting thoughts. I hope the episode does well. I hope it brings you a lot of value. It's one that I've put a lot of thought into. And there's a lot more thought that I want to put into the show. There's a lot more that I want to do for you to bring you the most efficient value that I can, to be serving you to the fullest of my time, talent, and treasure. It's something that needs a little bit more time and reflection from my intentionality. So we're going to take a little hiatus and maybe start introducing seasons where we're on and off again. That way I can take a little bit of time, be really intentional about the programming for 2025, and create some episodes that are truly top-notch for you. I don't know exactly what 2025 will bring, but I have genuine hope that it's going to be good. And because I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break, this is the last time I get to say this line this year. Until next week, until next Tuesday, budget bravely and enjoy your hope-filled financial future, your hope-filled financial dream.